Hello guys, once again, this is a brief tutorial on FSRealWX. As I often don't help people who don't want to invest time in their hobbies, who just want to get all that they paid for, despite they are paying for the support of the product, which is long time stays and its current state, and this especially is related to FSX and its known weather problems. So this is the window of FSRealWX Pro. Well, I haven't registered this as I wasn't sure. Actually, the developers page doesn't provide much information about FSRealWX and what does it do after the 30-day trial is over. So I decided to buy ActiveSky, and I bought ActiveSky, and I use ActiveSky with the models where there are flight radars, meteor radars, I mean, because they say the radars only work with ActiveSky. And I use FSRealWX in every other case when I'm not flying a meteor radar equipped aircraft, or when I am flying VFR, and so on and so forth. This is the main window. I don't actually remember how to install this one, but they've got some settings that should be considered. Let me show. First of all, the thing you should decide is what interface you are going to have to the FSRealWX to interact with the simulator. It has the support of FSUIPC, SimConnect, and both SimConnect and FSUIPC. I use FSUIPC interface. FSUIPC, now that's a dynamic loading library by Peter Dawson, and the link to his website is in the description of this video, if I not forgot, but it's Googleable. So the current method of connection is depicted in the bottom of the window. It says that I've got FSUIPC version 4.972. Well, that's supposed to be 971. Well, that doesn't matter. Maybe there was an update. General settings. From here we set units that are related to our aircraft. There's startup procedure. I often start my simulator first and then start FSRealWX, and due to these three flags turned on, it first downloads WX, downloads weather, clears weather in the sim, and then auto connects to the simulator and uploads weather to the simulator. That's pretty self-explanatory. There are paths where I could state what simulator I use, whether it is FSX or prepared, or maybe FS9 for those old timers. It also can use explain. The path to simulator is the path to the folder when the main executable of the simulator is often installed. This window is used to unlock features locked in the unregistered version, but I don't use such features, so I was happy enough to know that FSRealWX stays to display real-time weather, and that's actually all I need: diversity in weather conditions and some advanced simulation. And here is the moment when we come to weather tab in these options. Server location, it's for METAR downloads, Deutschland or United States. There are 3 variants of weather to select. No AA, it's weather for fly and flying. I use this weather to fly within FS Academy, as I don't need to follow WhatSim and EVAO rules. I've never considered to join one, so I don't need these options. I fly no AA. This section, it states how often and also how it is performed. The weather updates. 400 is 400 naval miles. That is the radius of the weather being applied to the simulator. I often use this radius as the double distance to the airport of arrival. Well, it can be adjusted as much as 700 miles, which is rather normal for my usual flights. I often fly nothing bigger than a Dakota, and this is rather big distance for Douglas. And weather modes: normal and auto, and also mode from the model file. I haven't tweaked that much, but the model file is advanced weather simulation also. And auto mode, I'm unsure what does it do, because normal seems pretty auto to me. And to fill the gaps that sometimes happen, it can create new weather stations in FSX and Prepared to interpolate data in the regions where no METAR data available. From the closest station, it just decides what weather should there be. FS wind. These 2 options are tunable every time, either in unregistered and in registered version, and it is a simulation of gusty surface winds, which occur sometimes. There are so many videos about unsuccessful landings and go-arounds and overshoots, just because of these gusty surface winds. And turbulence in the vicinity of cumulus. That is also present in active sky. Weather update interval in minutes, set by default, I believe, to 30 minutes, but it is also adjustable. I often try to set these 2 intervals the way that they don't interfere with my flying. So I fly basically static weather downloaded, and it is various for various regions, and the interval I often use is 30 minutes to 2 hours, well, not quite 2 hours, 100 minutes. But that's 1 hour and 40 minutes. Well, that's irrelevant. That is because when weather updates in the simulator, it sometimes downloads lots of data from various airports, and I fly within FS Economy, and that interferes with the ability of FS Economy client to communicate with simulator, and the client connections hangs, and it thinks that simulator had stopped working, and thus I just try to keep weather as stable as it could ever be. And there's one nice option: no weather updates for some heights. But I often fly without it. I'm rather confident to allow weather updates below 5,000 feet. It looks nice, by the way. And about clouds and visibility. It can generate cirrus clouds, it can generate mixed clouds from the samples from the basic clouds that are already in FSX. It doesn't add, I believe it doesn't add nothing new, no new textures, no smooth clouds, no soft clouds, nothing at all. But it generates sometimes stunning visuals from the what there is already there. Icing in clouds, it's a particular feature that separates this weather add-on from Active Sky in the favor of FSRealWX, not in the favor of Active Sky. It enables carburetor and fuel lines icing within icing conditions considerably with more detailed simulation that it could be. I know, because I live by the sea, that icing occurs not only when there's cold and there's water vapor in the air, but when there's enough humidity in the air. So it could be a slight mist. A mist not obscuring the visibility, and the visibility will be over 10 miles, for example. But there's the mist, the humidity is over 80%, and you are taken off in this mist, and you're flying in this mist, and you gather ice on your carburetor just because of humidity exists in the air. The mist should be, well, almost not detectable, but it is there, it is depicted, by the way, and it is dangerous. So I live by the sea. I know that ships freeze in these conditions. The ice starts to gather on deck, and in some harsh situations it leads to losing balance, and so on and so forth. And there are different tuning options for visibility, and in recent update they adjusted Kavak simulation, that there's no more big blue sky, but on the horizon, maybe in the distance, there will be some clouds. You can set this as to some octas, but 1 octas for Kavak is rather normal, I think. I of course remember the situation where there were no octas at all for Kavak, but one seems pretty much fine. And the minimum visibility in VFR conditions also could be set to ensure the simulation of such things as snow showers and all sudden meteor that can exist in marginal VFR. And there's visibility limit for depiction of the weather effects, and 200 kilometers is pretty much what the weather is already depicted in the simulator. That is why I don't often push this gauge as far as 700 Navy miles, as 400 Navy miles means I will see about 3/4 of this distance, but not more. And there's also some fine-tuning for visibility of 10 sea miles, and that is also adjustable. In general settings, we sadly cannot switch kilometers for miles, but I believe that's some minor disappointment. And back to the main window, by the way. In the unregistered version, only one window stays, other flight recorder is not active. Well, it is active, but we cannot record the flight with unregistered version. I don't need this one because I could easily record the flight using JoinFS. Still, I don't do so because recording flight in JoinFS means there will be no pilot model in the cockpit regardless of whether the model exists. Even if it exists, the cockpit will be empty. So it is not appealing. Maybe the flight recorder within FSRealWX is more detailed than in JoinFS, but for some distant aerobatics I would rather use JoinFS, and don't worry, I will just run this flight, sit in the heli, fly close to the stunt aircraft, and just hang in the air while making the shooting of this video. So that's irrelevant to me. As for the weather, we've got one field for METAR, one field for TAF, and the METAR is deciphered in this window, and we could easily request METARs from all over the world, and this will be registered here. Also, here on top of the used one appears the METARs from the airports when our aircraft is currently flying in the vicinity of those airports. Here, this is the data that also exists in active sky, but with one difference. It shows humidity. For example, if I climb to 4,500 feet, I would probably encounter icing condition because of humidity 87%. And let's see. Actually, clear skies, 10 sea miles. Well, that means some clouds exist. and this is detailed up to the troposphere. So in this window, current flight information is displayed, and this is just debug window, which shows all messages of the simulator of the FSRealWX and maybe some additional information. I have never looked into that. To use this application, you should always remember to set the interface to communicate with simulator, to load your flight first with clear skies, with the OK weather, and then to fire up the FSRealWX. It will download the weather, it will connect to your simulator after that, and it will send the weather data in the radius of the selection what you made in settings to the simulator. There is also a so-called let me show simple configurator, which is in the form of questions and so on and so forth, that makes almost the same thing as settings, but with some obvious simplification. From the settings you can turn on some turned off by default options, and you can get unexpectable flying experience with these options. That was all by now. Till the next time, thanks for watching.